New cards, PogChamp. New cards, PogChamp. First up, well, would you look at the time? Did I call it or what? Nothing ever happens. Database correction for Ether Barrel, Suda EN. So, in case you're unfamiliar, Primite Dragon Ether Barrel was printed, as it says, during the standby phase. If you have a normal monster on your field or in the graveyard, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. That's crazy, because it means that Drill Beam was always online, and was expected to be reverted. However, they changed the database to reflect the printed text, which made us think it was an error in OCG, and we got the real version. Well, turns out that they're willing to go back on their word. It has now been corrected to during your standby phase. If you have a normal monster in your field or graveyard, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. Garbage! Bum, 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 bum. This is one thing if it's on a card like Hextia that nobody plays because it's terrible. But this is a card that's going to see metagame play, and now you're going to have to like correct a child and be like, it's only during yours. There's a database correction. You'll have to pull out your phone. You'll have to look at it together. Blech. What a strange mistake to be making in 2025. It would be strange if these were the first print of the cards, right? If like TCG was the first time you ever saw the cards, it'd be like, oh, easy mistake to make. But at this point, they've been out for 9 months. We already know the text. Where are you pulling the text from that it's making this type of mistake? I don't know, man. How are we behind Alestrals on this? All right, next up. It's the end of the world with Ryu-Ge from Alan. So we have 2 new Ryu-Ge cards. Big, tall order to make Ryu-Ge playable. To make the other 2 crossover breakers playable, you have to do nothing. But for Ryu-Ge, you got to kind of work for it. Level 10 Dark Dragon Pendulum Effect monster. Being a pendulum matters. You can only use a second pendulum effect if this card's name once per turn. Can't pend except for Ryu-Ge's. When an opponent's card or effect resolves, it was activated in the response to the activation of a Ryu-Ge spell card or effect. You can negate that effect, then destroy this card. Okay. You can only use the first, second, and third effects of this card's name once per turn. You contribute a Ryu-Ge monster from your hand to field, except this one. Special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summon, you can target a card on the field destroyed. If this card is destroyed, you can put a Ryu-Ge continuous spell trap from your deck, graveyard, or banishment face up on your field. Okay. And Ryu-Ge Raid Apocalypse. Your opponent cannot target Ryu-Ge monsters you control with card effects. If you have a Ryu-Ge Pendulum monster on your field or face up extra deck, shuffle 2 Ryu-Ges from your hand, graveyard, or banishment into the deck, then target a monster on the field, destroy it. If this card is destroyed, set a non-continuous Ryu-Ge trap from your deck, graveyard, or banishment. Okay, so they gave them Chuche. They said, enjoy, you now have Chuche. You have a way to get Chuche online turn 1. These are fine. They're fine. They're good cards, but they are not going to resolve the outstanding issues in Ryu-Ge, most notably the fact that in order to play Ryu-Ge, you have to be playing 9 cards that are terrible to draw. This does not change that. And as a result, I don't think it's going to be what puts them into contention. It is going to be a fun thing to play in a pure version of the deck that currently exists only in a 10-minute testing and nowhere else. Can I reveal to you the funniest thing you can do with these cards? Absolutely. 100% yes, please. Set Rivalry turn 1 in any deck. Summon Anva Pop itself. Get the win spell. That's Di-Fi. I will now not be interested in Ryu-Ge. Oh, God. It does mean, and chat has figured this out, that Pure, which is looking to have both the Ritual Pendulum and this guy, will probably start playing Melody of Awakening Dragon, which is funny. You know, that's hilarious, if nothing else. Next up. Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice. New card for Shining Sark deck. 1 Shining Sarkillion cards for this poopy-ass deck. Okay, so this card has been, rather than the subject of scrutiny as to her effect, the subject of scrutiny as to her big ol' boobah, which are kind of visible in this image. I think like a bunch of people, most notably the 3 idiots, have been waging a campaign to get this card to America uncensored. All I have to say is, you guys know porn exists, right? I think probably Dark Magician Girl porn is the most frequent source of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pornography there is. Now, one person brought up a really interesting thing, which is after the Takahashi Dark Magician art where he's wearing black armor and he's like green, they changed DM to always look like that. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if DMG had a similar redesign where she looks different instead of like generic anime waifu? But of course, you know, we're not doing that. At Rev says Desu, help us uncensor DMG. Get Nux Taku on the line. He's doing anti-woke shit now. All right. Everyone's favorite Gyaru magician arrives late to help her master and his friends. What does Gyaru mean to you people? Come on. That is not... You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding another card. If summoned this way, its name becomes DMG. If normally special summoned, you can add a Shining Sark from your deck to your hand. 300 attack for each monster in either graveyard that mentions Shining Sark. Why are they allergic to giving this deck a good card? What? Why are they allergic to giving... This is a good... Like, this does find Shining Sark, right? So now you have the gadgets, you have actual open Sark, you have this card. That's 9 ways to get to Shining Sark, right? The deck still does nothing, right? Like, it can now consistently get to the position where it does nothing, right? Oh my god. The issue with Shining Sark is weird because, like, yes, it loses if you don't get to Shining Sark, and this helps alleviate that problem, but it also loses after you get to Shining Sark because it doesn't do anything. Oh man. I that's fine. Sure. Whatever. I hope they keep printing new Shining Sarkillion cards over and over again until the deck finally does something. Next up. Oh, man. This card's got me feeling some kind of way. A Hymn of Psalm of Kings. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. If you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can activate this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you cannot activate monster effects in the hand, graveyard, or banishment until the end of the next turn after this card activated from the hand resolves. Negate that effect. Then if you have a trap in your graveyard, you can add a Dominus from your deck to your hand. So a lot going on here. Most importantly, folks, 1,000,000 years of Pacifist the Phantasm City. Guess who doesn't care if you don't activate monster effects or not? This deck. And guess what? Pacifist now gets to play 12 hand traps. If you have the token on your side of the field, you get to play 16. Oh, man. All right. So that aside, let's talk about this card because it's really strange. So, unlike the other Dominus traps, which cut you off of an attribute, like activation of the effects of an attribute of monster, right? This just cuts you off of monster effects. But it cuts you off of monster effects in the hand, graveyard, or banishment. You can still use monster effects on field. So there are going to be some decks that do not give a shit about this. Now, importantly, this is an imperm that doesn't have to target. It gets so much better if you're playing imperm. And if you are theoretically playing a control deck that doesn't run up against the Dominus typing, I mean, it's also crazy. Like, activate this card, go get Dominus Impulse, go get Dominus Purge. Like, that's unbelievable. I can't think of a great home for it at present, outside of Pacifist. But this, plus the Dominus Traps, plus Imperm, maybe you can even play fucking Typhoon, has really got me feeling something. Paleo support? Yeah. Hilariously, you can Ash this, but, you know, it is what it is. They're finally making Stun 3. Oh, yeah. Stun 3 is back in a big way. Next up. New V-Jump promo. Soul Licer Crystal. So we don't know what the fuck this guy's going to do, but he is one of these video game guys that's like, I guess he has to be an illusion, right? Soul Freezing Snow Crystal. So he was a machine on first release and then became an Aqua. So who knows? The more V-Jump promos they release that are bad, the better. I'm not going back to Link Haribo land. Next up. Awaken the Chaotic Elements. Okay. This one is so fucking funny. So you know what they like to do is when a TCG archetype comes out and it's bad, they're like, you know what? I know what will make it good. Let's give it an OCG support card, right? Unfortunately, two of the TCG archetypes, Tistina and Ashen, haven't gotten one, and I have to imagine it's because there's no way to save those fucking things. So they gave them both the same card. At a level 5 or higher, light or dark pyro or aqua monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then if you have 3 or more pyro or aqua monsters in your graveyard, you can destroy a card on the field. If your opponent controls a light or dark pyro or aqua monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. Who cares? So people have looked at some interactions with this card, a list of current cards that interact with this card. And it's mostly Ashen cards. It's mostly... Link doesn't work. Tistina cards. Unfortunately, this doesn't resolve any of the outstanding issues in those decks. I guess you can take back your Vidos now. You take back your Vidos. That's cool. Ugh. Realistically, I am having a hard time imagining the use case for this cards. And people have pointed out that, like, that's maybe the right typing for Detonator, but, like, this doesn't resolve that. Like, you can play Change of Heart, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do get it. What I get is there's no way to resolve that. And my favorite part of it is, like, it's not even subtle. The art is a Tistina surrounded by the Ashened Miasma. They're like, listen, we don't know what to do about this. I don't know. Next up. We did this already. Maliss, hot off the presses this morning, new Maliss cards. Okay, so this is March Hare. Who the fuck is March Hare? That's White Rabbit, right? Is there a second rabbit in Alice in Wonderland? All right. It's Hatter's friend from the Tea Party. Different rabbit. Okay. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand, you can banish one other Maliss card from your hand or graveyard. If you do, special summon this card. Oh my god. An extender? Holy shit. Your opponent cannot target Maliss Link monsters that point to this card with card effects. If this card becomes banished, you can pay 300, then target one of your banished Maliss monsters, add it to your hand. Oh, okay, so it doesn't special itself. And then Maliss in the Mirror. Target a face of monster your opponent controls, banish a Maliss from your hand or field, negate the targeted monster's effects till the end of the turn. Oh my god. If this card becomes banished, you can target a Maliss card in your graveyard, banish it, and if you do, add a Maliss card of the same type from your deck to your hand. These cards are unbelievable. There's no other word for it. I can't sugarcoat it. These cards are unbelievable. They are unthinkable. They're, wow. Making me feel bad that I'm getting off Maliss, because once Alan comes out, I am back in. Wow, 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 wow. So, the pseudo support for Maliss is really bad. It's that, like, 4-month skipper guy that I don't think anyone's actually going to play. These cards are really, really good. Let me just give you some use cases for what these cards do in the existing Maliss deck. Firstly, Maliss has one huge problem. Same problem that Snake Eyes has. Sometimes you draw too many normal summons instead of drawing non-engine or extenders. This resolves that problem, because now if you draw too many pieces of stuff, you can just go normal my Dormouse, banish this card, grab it back to hand, banish another one from hand, and then we got like a million bodies on board. Also gives you a fourth name, really important for Red Ransom, which currently banishes Dotscaper in the deck in order to extend a little bit. This gives you another thing to do that is still a Maliss name, which is really important because then you don't have to play Dotscaper, open it, and totally fuck yourself on some lines. Additionally, because it's a quick effect, you can start playing on turn 0. During your opponent's first main phase, you can activate March Hare, banish a White Rabbit from your hand. White Rabbit summon itself back using its effect, use its on-summon effect to set a TB11, and guess what? You are playing Maliss already. Hell, you can set the one that adds one from deck to hand and then banishes a card your opponent controls in order to guarantee follow-up. Or if you already have access to a trap card or the link somehow, then you get to interact as early as turn 0. Your opponent can't target Maliss Link monsters. The point of this card with card effects means that it's an important part of an end board. And of course, there's no way to get rid of this card because the field spell ensures that you have to attack over the Maliss Link monsters before you attack over anything else anyway. And I'm getting this third effect now. It doesn't summon itself from banished, but it does because it gets banished, you target itself, you add it to hand, then you special it from hand, which is epic. Okay, awesome. Second, Maliss in the Mirror. This deck desperately needs one more piece of interaction. Importantly, a piece of interaction that requires you to banish a Maliss monster is exactly what you're looking for. Reset White Rabbit on your opponent's turn. Reset White Binder without having to use the extra cost effect of something like a Magical Tea Party or GWC06. If it becomes banished, banish a Maliss card in your graveyard to add a Maliss of the same type. Means that your White Binder can banish this card, target one of the monsters in the graveyard, get you follow-up for next turn. And importantly, it's a spell. Right now, Red Ransom adds a Maliss spell from deck to hand, which is just the field spell. It can add this. I mean, my God, this is... Wow. I mean, it's... I really can't overstate it. This is going to make Maliss competitive with Ryu-Ge, if not better, if nothing changes. Wow. It's legitimately like if you sat me down in a lab and said, what are the two cards that this deck needs? It would be these. Now, important. There are going to be some Ryu-Ge support cards as well. So it could still go ahead. And this deck does still have a huge weakness in terms of Lancia. This at least gives you something to do to prompt to like deal with stuff before your opponent can even do a Lancia. But, wow, these are good cards. Combo video for Ain. All right, what do we got? What is Jeff Jones cooking up? Okay, we go Dormouse, White Rabbit, set TB11. These two gone. Haggard, banish Dormouse. Dormouse, summon. Red Ransom effect. Get the field spell. TB11, banish Red Ransom. All normal so far. Summon out Chessy Cat. Red Ransom back. Banish Dotscaper. Still playing Dotscaper. This is the Nibiru combo. They Nibiru you here. Ow. So instead you go field spell for New Lady. New Lady effect, add to hand. Effect to summon. Banish. Chessy Cat hasn't yet used her effect. Chessy Cat effect, summon. And guess what? The token for a Link Spider. And then what do you know? We have got 1, 2, 3 on our side of the field. We go... Oh no, we can keep going. We can go a Splash Mage. A Splash Mage effect, target her. These two for White Binder. White Binder effect, grab the GWC, activate GWC, banish White Binder, bring back, Red Ransom here probably. Yep, and then we go GWC effect, or White Binder effect, summon back, and then we can go into Link Decoder, yep, into the 4, into the Firewall Dragon, into the Link Decoder, Firewall Dragon, add back a guy, White Binder in the Firewall for, or everyone, sorry, for the big boy. And then we go White Binder and we go Red Ransom. Wow, that's crazy. That's unbelievable. That's through Nibiru. That's, wow, holy moly, wow. Oh my God. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. That's sexy. I'm loving it, folks. I'm really loving it. Whoa. I can't imagine that Appaloosa lives another format in the OCG. I imagine it's so over. We're still going. How much longer is there? No, 5 seconds. So he's just doing what we're going to do when our opponent takes an action. We get to have the live MTP07 as well. Wow. Oh, I can't wait for these cards. I really can't. For now, though, you will not catch me normal summoning Dormouse because I keep opening Dormouse, field spell plus White Rabbit. And then I normal Dormouse and they go Lancia. And I go, okay, I will just jump in that case.